Welcome, traveler. Come closer. There is no need to rush. The road has been long, and the night is gentle tonight. Sit for a moment. Let the world slow down around you. You can almost hear it, can't you? The distant sound of a bell, slow, deep, and steady, carried softly by the evening air. It echoes across the hills, drifting over fields and forests, as it has done for centuries. Not a sound of alarm, but of rhythm, of time passing quietly, without urgency. This is where our story begins. Not in battle, not in chaos, but in warmth, in a small valley, hidden between rolling green hills, where the mornings arrive wrapped in mist, and the nights are lit only by firelight and stars. A place untouched, or so it seems, by the troubles of the wider world. There, at the edge of the valley, stands a modest wooden house, nothing remarkable at first glance. Its walls are worn by seasons, its roof darkened by years of rain, and a thin curl of smoke rises from its chimney, disappearing into the cooling sky. Inside, the air is warm. The hearth glows softly, casting flickering shadows along the walls. A pot simmers gently, filling the room with the comforting scent of herbs and broth, the kind of smell that makes you feel safe without knowing why. And near the fire sits a boy. His name is Aldrin. He is not yet a warrior, not yet shaped by the world beyond the valley. For now he is simply a boy who listens. He listens to the crackling fire, to the quiet murmur of his mother as she moves through the room, her hands busy, her voice calm, almost like a song without melody. She speaks softly, as if the house itself might be resting. The night is kind, she says sometimes. It asks nothing of us. Aldrin believes her, because here everything feels gentle, even the silence. His father sits nearby, sharpening a tool by the firelight. The slow, rhythmic scrape of stone against metal fills the room, not harsh, not threatening, just steady, like the bell in the distance. Aldrin watches him. His father is a man of few words, but there is something reassuring in his presence, solid, unmoving, like the hills themselves. The kind of man who does not need to speak often, because when he does, it matters. Outside, the wind moves softly through the trees. Not a storm, not tonight, just a quiet breath passing through branches, brushing against the wooden walls, whispering across the fields. The kind of sound that reminds you how vast the world is, and yet how safe you can feel within it. Aldrin often wakes before dawn, not because he must, but because he likes to. There is something special about that hour. The world feels paused. He steps onto the cold floor, wrapping himself in a wool blanket, and walks quietly to the doorway. Outside, the valley is still covered in a pale mist, like a dream not yet finished. And then, the bell, slow, deep, endless. It rolls across the land, touching everything. The trees, the fields, the small house on the hill. To Aldrin it means one thing: everything is as it should be. He does not yet know that beyond the valley, the world is different, that roads stretch farther than he can imagine, that men carry steel not for work, but for war, that stories are not always told by the fire, but written in ash and silence. No, for now he only knows this place, this warmth, this quiet life where days pass like gentle waves, each one touching the shore and fading without disturbance. Later his mother calls him back inside. "Come, the morning is waking," she says with a soft smile, and he sits beside the fire once more, the warmth wrapping around him, the light dancing in his eyes, unaware that these moments, these simple, peaceful moments, are the kind that never truly return once lost. Outside, the mist slowly lifts. The valley reveals itself again, and far away, almost too far to notice, a road cuts through the trees, pale, silent, waiting. For now it is nothing more than a distant line, but soon it will matter. Not yet. For now, just listen to the fire, to the bell, to the quiet world that still belongs to him. To the fire, to the bell, to the quiet world that still belongs to him. For a while, nothing changes. Days pass gently in the valley, just as they always have. The same soft light in the mornings, the same quiet work beneath open skies, the same calm evenings where the fire becomes the center of everything and shadows move slowly along the walls like silent companions. Aldrin grows, not all at once, not in any way that can be noticed from one day to the next, but slowly, like the trees beyond the house, rooted first, then stretching. His hands become stronger. He learns the weight of tools, the patience of work, the quiet satisfaction of things done well, carrying water from the well, splitting wood in clean, careful strikes, mending what breaks instead of discarding it. There is no rush here, no urgency. Even time itself feels softer. Sometimes in the late afternoon, Aldrin walks alone toward the edge of the fields, where the land begins to slope gently downward. From there he can see farther than anywhere else in the valley, and always the same thing draws his eyes. The road. It lies beyond the trees, pale and thin, barely visible unless the light catches it just right. It does not move, it does not call out, but it waits. Aldrin does not know why he looks at it, only that he does. Behind him the valley breathes quietly. The wind moves through the grass. Somewhere in the distance a dog barks once, then silence returns, and then the bell, low, steady, familiar. He closes his eyes when he hears it. For a moment everything feels anchored again, as if the sound itself is holding the world together. But something has changed, not around him, within him. It is small, barely noticeable, a question perhaps, or a feeling, the sense that the valley is not the whole world, but only a part of it. He does not speak of it, not to his mother, who still moves through the house with quiet warmth, her voice as soft as ever, not to his father, who watches him sometimes with a look that lingers just a moment longer than before, and not even to himself, because to name it would make it real. So instead life continues. One evening, as the sky fades into deep blue and the first stars appear, Aldrin sits outside the house, his back against the wooden wall. The air is cool. The ground still holds a little warmth from the day. His father joins him. For a long time they say nothing. They listen to the wind, to the distant bell, to the quiet. Then, without looking at him, his father speaks. "You've been watching the road." It is not a question. Aldrin hesitates. "Yes." His father nods slowly. "I did the same once." Aldrin turns to him, surprised. "You?" A faint smile touches the corner of his father's face. Not quite sadness, not quite nostalgia. "Everyone does," he says, at some point. Silence returns for a moment. Then Aldrin asks carefully, "What's out there?" His father does not answer immediately. Instead he looks toward the dark line of trees, where the road disappears from sight. "More than you think," he says finally, "and less than you hope." Aldrin frowns slightly. "I don't understand." His father exhales slowly. "You don't need to. Not yet." The words are gentle, but they carry weight. That night Aldrin lies awake longer than usual. The fire has died down to embers. The house is still. The wind has faded, and in the distance, The bell. It sounds different now. Not louder, not sharper, but somehow farther away, as if something has come between him and its meaning. He turns onto his side, staring into the dim glow of the hearth. The warmth is still there. The safety is still there. Everything is exactly as it was, and yet it doesn't feel the same. Days later the change comes, not with thunder, not with shouting, but quietly, as most important things do. It is late afternoon when Aldrin hears it. Hoofbeats, distant at first, then closer, unfamiliar. He straightens where he stands, a bundle of wood in his arms. His father is already turning toward the sound. His mother pauses in the doorway. They all hear it now. The rhythm is wrong, too fast, too heavy. A single rider breaks through the line of trees. The horse is breathing hard, foam at its mouth. Its hooves strike the ground with urgency, not travel. The man on its back leans forward, as if held there only by will, and for the first time in his life, Aldrin feels something unfamiliar, not curiosity, not wonder, something sharper, something colder. The rider reaches the house and pulls the reins too hard. The horse stumbles, then steadies. For a moment no one moves. Then the man lifts his head. His face is pale beneath dirt and sweat, and there is blood, not fresh, but not old enough. Water, he says, his voice rough, and shelter. Aldrin's father steps forward. No hesitation, no questions. Because some things you do without thinking. Together they help the man down from the horse, and as Aldrin's hands catch the stranger's weight, he feels it, the world beyond the valley, not as a story, not as a distant idea, but as something real, something heavy, something that has finally arrived. Inside the house, the fire burns a little brighter. The warmth is the same, the walls are the same, the voices are the same, and yet everything has changed, not loudly, not suddenly, but in a way that cannot be undone. And as night falls once more over the valley, the bell begins to ring, slow, deep, endless, but this time it does not feel like comfort. It feels like a warning. It feels like a warning. The sound lingers in the air long after the bell has stopped, as if the valley itself has heard it and is holding its breath. Inside the house the fire burns steadily, but the warmth no longer feels the same. The stranger sits near the hearth, his back against the wall, breathing slowly now. His cloak has been removed. The wound at his side is worse than it first appeared. Darkened cloth peeled away to reveal the truth beneath. Aldrin watches, not with fear, not yet, but with something deeper, attention. His mother moves quietly as she always does, cleaning the wound with careful hands. Her voice remains soft, steady, as if nothing in the world has changed, as if this is only another evening, another task, another moment to be carried gently. But Aldrin can see it, in the way her hands pause just a fraction longer than usual, in the way she avoids looking at the man's face for too long. His father kneels beside them, silent, focused. The same man who mends tools and fences now presses cloth against torn flesh without hesitation. The stranger winces, but does not cry out. After some time, when the worst of it has been done, he drinks from a wooden cup and exhales slowly. "You're far from it," he says. No one asks what he means, because they already know. "The fighting," he continues, "it's spreading." The word hangs in the air, spreading, like fire, like sickness. Aldrin feels it settle somewhere inside him. "Where?" his father asks. "Everywhere," the man replies. "The river crossings, the roads, villages that never mattered. Now they do. He glances toward the door. Men are choosing sides, or being forced to. Silence follows. The fire cracks softly. Outside, the wind has stilled completely. What sides? Aldrin asks before he can stop himself. The stranger looks at him for the first time. Truly looks. Not as a boy, but as someone standing at the edge of something. That depends, he says slowly, on who reaches you first. Aldrin says nothing, but the words remain, long after they have been spoken. That night, sleep does not come easily. The house is quiet, yet not peaceful. Aldrin lies awake, listening to the breathing of the others, to the faint shift of wood as the fire settles, to the absence of wind, and then, again, the bell. But now it feels distant, not because it is far, but because something else has come closer. The next morning arrives without color. The sky is pale, washed of warmth. The mist clings lower than usual, thicker, as if reluctant to lift. The stranger is already awake. He stands slowly, testing his weight, adjusting the bandage at his side. "You shouldn't ride," Aldrin's mother says gently. "I shouldn't stay," he replies. There is no bitterness in his voice, only truth. Outside, the horse waits, restless but ready. Aldrin follows him to the door. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Then the stranger reaches for something at his side. The sword. He hesitates, then turns, holding it out. "Take it." Aldrin freezes. "I can't." "You can," the man says, "and you will, sooner or later." The blade is not beautiful, not polished like the stories. It is worn, marked, real. Aldrin looks to his father. The older man does not speak, but he does not stop him either. Slowly, Aldrin takes it. It is heavier than he expected, colder, different from anything he has ever held. Not a tool, not something to build with, something else entirely. The stranger nods once. "Keep it clean," he says, "and don't believe the first man who tells you why you should use it." He mounts his horse with effort, pauses, then adds, "If you're lucky, you'll never need it." And then he is gone. The sound of hooves fades into the mist, and the valley is quiet again, but not the same quiet, never the same. Days pass, then more, but something has shifted. Aldrin feels it in everything, in the way his father watches the road more often, in the way his mother listens, even when no sound is there, in the way the bell rings, unchanged, yet somehow hollow, and in the weight of the sword. He keeps it near. At first he does not touch it. Then one day he does, just to feel it again, then again, until it becomes familiar, until it no longer feels like something foreign, until it begins to feel like it belongs. One evening, as the sun lowers behind the hills, Aldrin stands alone in the field, the sword in his hand, not raised, not ready, just held. The wind moves through the grass. The world is quiet, and for a moment he closes his eyes. He remembers the warmth, the fire, the voice of his mother, the steady presence of his father, the bell, when it still meant peace. Then he opens them and looks toward the road. It is no longer distant, not in his mind, not in his heart. It is closer now, closer than the house, closer than the valley, closer than anything else. Behind him, the world he knows still stands. Before him, the one he does not. And somewhere between the two, he feels it. Not fear, not exactly, but something that moves him forward, quietly, inevitably, like the sound of a bell that never truly stops. Like the sound of a bell that never truly stops. It follows him, even when the valley is silent, even when the wind fades, even when the night settles gently over the hills. That quiet pull remains. Days pass. Then one morning, it is simply time. There is no grand decision, no sudden moment, just a knowing. Aldrin wakes before dawn, as he always has. The house is still. The embers glow faintly in the hearth, casting a soft red light across the room. For a long moment he does not move. He listens to the silence, to the slow breathing of the house, to everything he has ever known. Then, carefully, he rises. He dresses without sound. The fabric feels familiar against his skin. The same clothes, the same space, the same life, but not the same heart. His hand pauses on the sword. Then he takes it. The weight no longer surprises him. It settles naturally at his side. Outside, the air is cold and clear. The mist has not yet risen. The valley is still half asleep, wrapped in that quiet hour between night and morning. His father is already there, standing near the edge of the yard, looking toward the fields. He does not turn. "I wondered when," he says softly. Aldrin steps beside him. They stand together just as they have many times before, looking outward. Neither of them rushes to speak. There is no need. After a while, Aldrin says, "I think I have to go." His father nods once. "I know." Silence returns, but it is not empty. It is full of everything that does not need to be said. His mother appears in the doorway. She is known too. Of course she has. She walks toward him slowly, her hands folded together, her expression calm, but her eyes carrying something deeper. Not fear, not surprise. Something quieter, something stronger. She reaches him and adjusts his cloak as she used to when he was a child. A simple gesture, but one that holds years within it. "The road is not kind," she says gently. "I know," Aldrin replies. She places her hand against his cheek for a moment, "and neither is the world beyond it." He does not answer, because there is nothing to say. She lowers her hand, then steps back. His father finally turns to him. For a brief moment their eyes meet, not as father and child, but as two men. "You remember what I told you?" his father asks. Aldrin nods. Everything comes from the road. His father gives a faint smile, and everything returns to it. Aldrin exhales slowly. Then he turns toward the fields, toward the trees, toward the road. He does not look back immediately, not because he does not want to, but because he knows that if he does, he might stay. So he walks, step by step. The ground feels the same beneath his feet. The air is the same. The valley is the same. And yet, everything is different. At the edge of the trees he pauses, just for a moment, and then the bell begins to ring. Slow, deep, endless. The sound reaches him as it always has, but now it does not hold him in place. It follows him, like a memory, like a promise, like something that will never truly leave him. He steps onto the road, and for the first time, he is no longer part of the valley. He is part of the world beyond it. Time passes, not quickly, not slowly, just as it does. The road changes him in ways that are not seen all at once, in ways that are not always understood. He learns what steel truly means. Not glory, not stories, but weight, choice, consequence. He sees places that do not feel like home, fields that have forgotten peace, men who no longer remember why they fight. And through it all, the bell remains, not in sound, but in memory. Years later, when his hair is touched with the first signs of age, when his hands carry the marks of a life lived far from the quiet valley, he stands once more on a familiar hill. The house is still there, older, worn, but standing. The fields breathe the same way. The wind moves the same way. And in the distance, the bell, it rings again, just as it always has. Aldrin closes his eyes. And for a moment, he is no longer a warrior, no longer a man shaped by the road. He is simply the boy by the fire, listening, resting, at peace. The world has changed him, but it has not taken everything. Some things remain: the warmth, the quiet, the sound of something steady in a shifting world. And as the bell continues its slow, endless rhythm, the valley welcomes him back, not as he was, but as he has become. And for the first time in many years, there is no pull, no road calling him forward, only stillness, only breath, only rest, and the quiet understanding that every journey, no matter how far it goes, carries within it the memory of where it began.